Very good morning to everyone. So let's begin with this thought that you are allowed to outgrow your old self. Let me say that again. You are allowed to outgrow your old self. So, with this thought, I want to begin with the confession that there's a version of you that was formed a long time ago. Some of it was formed by what your parents said, some by what a teacher once remarked, or some by a failure that stung just a little too long, some by a success that surprised even you and then quietly faded while the failure stayed. And here's the thing, that version of you, it had its reasons. It made complete sense at the time. It kept you safe. It helped you survive. It may have even helped you thrive. But here is the question I want to gently place in front of you today. Is that version still serving you? Or are you simply carrying it out of habit? The way we carry an old wallet stuffed with expired cards and receipts from 2011, just because we haven't stopped to clean it out. Today, we are going to clean out the wallet. Today, we do something quietly radical. Today, we talk about the identity reset. Yes, let me tell you something extraordinary about a snake. Yes, a snake. A snake shed its skin not once, not as some dramatic once in a lifetime event, regularly, deliberately, because its old skin stops growing. It becomes tight, it becomes a constraint. And so the snake, with no drama, no grief, no ceremony, simply leaves it behind. It doesn't hold on to the old skin and say, but the skin knows me. The skin has been with me for years. What will people think if I show up in a new one? It just lets go and grows into what was always meant to become next. And we are not so different, except we have something the snake doesn't. We can choose when to shed. We can do it consciously, deliberately, with intention. And that is the extraordinary gift of a thinking, feeling, self aware human being. But the question is, are we using that gift? Yeah, that's important to think it that way. So let's meet Ritu today. She's 46. She was passed over for a promotion 5 years ago. And from that day, she absorbed an identity. I'm not leadership material. 5 words, one event, and yet those 5 words began making decisions for her. She stopped volunteering for high visibility projects. She started shrinking in rooms where she used to be vocal. She began prefacing everything she said with, oh, this might be a silly idea, but her old me said, I was rejected once. I'm not the kind of person who leads. But what if Ritu did a reset? New me. I'm someone who leads through insight, experience, and quiet authority. So, action to shift. Walk into the next meeting without the this might be silly preamble. Say the idea. Own the room just for 3 minutes. One reset, one meeting, one moment of not apologizing for her own intelligence. And that is how Ritu gets herself back. And let's meet Nisha. She's 63. Her children are settled. Her husband is retired. The house runs smoothly. And Nisha's old me identity is one that was perhaps useful for 35 years, that I exist to take care of others. My needs come last. She says yes to everything that is asked of her. She says no quietly, without even realizing it, to everything that is meant for her. Her daughter suggested she take a watercolor class. So Nisha said, "Arre, मुझे तो कुछ आता नहीं painting में." Her neighbor invited her to join a book club. अरे मैं कहाँ पढ़ने वाली हूँ अब. So Nisha's old me is protecting itself by disqualifying every invitation before it can be accepted. Because if she steps into something for herself, what will she find? And what will she have to admit she's been missing? So, new me for Nisha. I'm a woman who is allowed to be curious, to learn, to enjoy, to take up space in my own life. Action to shift. Say yes to one thing this week that is entirely, unapologetically for herself. How beautiful is that? So, now let's meet Prakash. He's 59. His old me identity was built across a career. I am the provider, the strong one, the one who has the answers. It served him beautifully for decades. Yes. But Prakash is now in a phase of life where the children don't need providing for. The career chapter is closing. And quietly, very quietly, he's asking himself, who am I now? If I am not the provider, the boss, the authority, who exactly is Prakash? So that is not a crisis, that is an invitation. So the new me for Prakash is I'm someone whose value comes not from what I provide, but from who I am. I am a learner, a companion, a man who is finally free to be interested in things for their own sake. So the action to shift is pick up one thing this week that has nothing to do with productivity or purpose. Just pure, guilt free curiosity and a book, a walk, a conversation with someone new. So, here is what an identity reset is not. It's not erasing your past. It's not pretending your old self that didn't exist. It's not reinventing yourself overnight with a dramatic announcement. It is simply this: looking honestly at the beliefs you carry and asking whether they still belong to you, whether they were ever really chosen or just inherited, absorbed, accumulated. And then, with great gentleness and great courage, deciding which ones you keep, which ones you update, and which ones you finally gratefully lay down. The beliefs that protected you when you were young may be limiting you now. The identity that helped you survive may be preventing you from thriving. And the story you've told yourself for 30 years will simply no longer be true. And you're allowed completely, fully, without anyone's permission to write a new one. Yes. And this is your weekly activity. Beautifully simple, but let me tell you, it's a very, very powerful activity that I'm going to make you do today. So please take a piece of paper and draw 3 columns. Yes. So column 1, put the heading Old Me. Column 2, write New Me. And column 3 heading is Action to Shift. Let me repeat. The column 1 heading is Old Me. Column 2 heading is new me, and column 3 heading is action to shift. Now, let's focus on column 1 first. Write down the beliefs, the habits, the stories about yourself that you have been carrying. Be honest. No one is grading this. It's only for you. So, in the first column, that is the old me column, you have to write down your beliefs, your habits, your stories about yourself that you have been carrying. Yes. And then we focus on the new me. So, what you have to write in the second column is write who you are choosing to become, not who you wish you were or who you are deciding to be. Present tense. I am, not I will try. So, to assume that it's already true, the new me is already there. And then column 3, action to shift. One concrete thing you will do this week that the new me would do. Specific, doable, today or tomorrow, not some vague future. So this is like this activity for the week. And then before you leave this room, before this day ends, commit to one change. That is, below this table, write a sentence, my commitment this week. So once you complete this, even if you're not able to complete it right now, please do it immediately after the session. That below the table, you have to write one sentence, my commitment this week, and just finish the sentence. And then below that, write the last, my one action today. So for the next 7 days, gradually, maybe next Sunday, I would like to hear from you what actions you took in the previous 7 days, right? So that is your worksheet. So just do one thing today, because one honest, intentional shift is worth 1,000 beautiful intentions that stay on paper. So this is your worksheet. Use it, write in it, and of course, bring it back the next week, right? So today I want to leave you with an image. Imagine the snake after it has shed its old skin, moving through the grass, lighter, freer, everything still familiar around it. The same grass, the same earth, the same sunlight, but it moves differently because it is no longer carrying something it has outgrown. And that is what an identity reset offers you. Not a new life, the same life, but inhabited differently, with more ownership, more intention, more of you actually showing up in it. So I've lived enough of life to know what no longer fits. You've also lived enough to know who you are becoming if you give yourself the space to admit it. Today is that space. You are not a final draft. You have never been a final draft. You're a living, breathing, gloriously unfinished story, and the next chapter begins today. Shed what no longer fits, grow into what is waiting. So, with that thought, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you.